Hey, this is Trevor William Church, and you're watching the Heavy Galaxy Show.
All right, we're back with another episode of the Heavy Galaxy Show right here on the CMS Network. And on today's episode, here to talk about their outstanding sophomore full-length, My Veneration. We'd like to welcome to the show from Patriarchs in Black. We got guitarist Dan Lorenzo and, of course, drummer Johnny Kelly with us. What's up, gentlemen? Thank you both for joining us, man. How are you guys?
What's up, guys?
Thanks for having us, John and Johnny.
Yeah.
Doing great, guys. So I have My Veneration, second full-length, as I said. Let me go home and bring this up here. You said second full length. It's out now on MDD Records. Follow up to the stellar Reach for the Scars that you guys put out about a year and a half or so ago. And Dan, like I told you, when you're in the message, I mean, you guys keep outdoing yourselves on every ensuing record here. This one is really, I think, taking it to a bit of a different level. And I guess we'll start with what sticks out to me. Obviously, you guys in general is the vocalists. So many different, angles with the vocals on this one, a lot of different elements in general, but the vocals, I mean, once again, you got Carl on there, Carl Legel, you got Rob Traynor coming back again for another round, but this time around, you've got I think one of the best vocalists out there right now, Mark Sunshine, of course, who's with Unita, who did, I think, just a great job on the record on the 2 tracks he was on. Of course, surprise, we got Daryl McDaniels, DMC himself from Run DMC. That was definitely something that came out of left field that I didn't expect. That sounded really good. I mean, I thought it was great on that song. And, of course, you've got some, like, New York almost hardcore vocals on a couple of these tracks, which was, like, another element that I love. And, I'm a big New York hardcore fan. So, I mean, I guess just go ahead, guys. Talk to us about, the approach and why you guys really, I guess, decided to go with a couple of different angles on this record than just sticking to what you did on the first record.
Just to make it fun, the New York hardcore guy, his name is Kelly Abe. He was on a TV show, Search for the Next Ozfest, I believe is the correct title.
Okay.
And my producer, J-Rod, said, hey, check this guy out. And I'm like, wow, that guy's really good. So I was like in the studio about to record something and I heard him. But, there's like, some people think it's like this little master plan, but it's just like, hey, Johnny, you know anybody else? Or Dan, who else do we know? And Mike Christie said, have you heard Sunshine sing lately? I'm like, I haven't heard Sunshine sing in like 30 years. I'm like, is it any good? He's like, check it out. We had him we did a cover of the Immigrant song. And we had a few different people sing that. It just wasn't happening. And then Sunshine sang it. And I loved it. And I'm always sending things to Johnny like, oh, please, I hope Johnny likes it. And Johnny said, I don't know what to think. This guy's so different. I'm like, but that's cool. Right? I think, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I love his whole approach just to the way he creates. It's really unique, and
it is,
like what he comes up with is spectacular. Like he could take something like, so simple. And then there's all kinds of other, like, layering on it and stuff, which I think is great. And I think that was part of like, like what made this record kind of step up from the previous one. Yeah. Things like that. Like even Carl crushed what he did on this one. And it seems like he's singing stronger now. And So it was, it was cool. And it was cool. Like, it's great to get like, like a bunch of different people involved and stuff.
Yeah, that was really wild seeing Sunshine on there. I recently saw him with Unita 3 different times in the span of 3 weeks, including one of my own shows. Yeah. And I'd never heard of him before. Arthur from Unita told me, all right, we're moving forward. Garcia's given the blessing. And first time I saw Mark, I'm like, wow, he's nailing it. Really. Yeah.
He's
almost like a
very
Garcia meets Axl Rose.
Axl Rose-ish, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. But he's got he's multi-dimensional, It's not just singing or just screaming or it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
And I
was blown away. I really was. I was blown away.
Oh, good. I want to say one thing about Mark Sunshine. He's actually on tour right now. He's been WhatsApping me from Greece. I believe he just sent me an email from Romania. And the interesting thing with him getting onto the second song on the album, Show Them Your Power, he had a longtime fiance and he kept sending me texts or, we speak on the phone. His longtime fiance of I think 12 years was dying. She was in hospice and she was dying. So I believe he told me she passed today on a Saturday. I'm like, oh, that's so sad, but maybe, it's for the best. She was suffering for quite a while. Yeah. He went in and sang Show Them Your Power on Sunday, the day after his longtime fiance died. He's like, dude, wow, better like this because I put my heart is in this song. It's so emotional to me. please don't make any changes. And I'm like, I love it,
Yeah. Really good performance.
Yeah.
Outstanding performance.
And he's a great live performer. I mean, he really, his stage presence is pretty phenomenal.
Rock star.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I noticed one of my buddies, Rob from Blackwater Rising, in there as well. Love Rob, such a good guy and a great singer. Yeah. And I guess you probably go way back with him with the whole New York scene and everything.
I knew Rob when I was in high school.
Wow.
Were you guys in a band, Johnny? You and him?
Yeah, a long time ago. As kids. Yeah, as kids. And then we played together a little bit, like in the early 2000s. And then, it was cool that he was able to, participate on the record, like he did on this record, he did on the last record too. Yeah. He has a very unique voice and he has a very unique way of approaching vocals and stuff. So I thought it was cool that he was able to.
My experience. Sorry. I don't know Rob as well, but I'll tell you guys something. The first time I heard Brother Go On, is that the name of their hit single, right?
One of them, yeah.
I was working for a magazine. I was done touring. I was done playing. And I heard a song, and I'm like, this is number one, it's a great song. Where are these guys from? It's like they're from Brooklyn. I'm like, fuck me, man. Somebody else there can write a riff like that and write a song. They're like, I actually wish I wrote, like I was jealous of them, but I'm like, that's cool. A local band that actually, like, I could say I can fall in love with this song. And I met them all, and they're such nice guys, like how can you not root for them too, and their new stuff is great. But yeah, Rob hit 100 for us on both albums. I think he has track number 3 on both albums.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, I mean, obviously the first record, Reach for the Sky. I mean, I loved all the vocal performances on that. And, obviously you got the unique approach there with having different singers. And when I was listening to this record now, and I heard the first song with Carl, I'm like, man, God, it'd be great if Carl, sung all the songs on this, right? But then when Rob came on, I'm like, well, shoot, Rob too, though. I mean, he's nailing it too. But then by the time I got to like the 4th track, I was just thinking, like, actually, this is really perfect what you guys are doing with these records. It's different, and the idea just to have so many different vocalists, I don't think it would work with a lot of bands or just every band, but with the sound you guys have, I think I can't see it being done any other way. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys probably think the same thing now, right? I mean, you probably can't fathom yourself having.
I mean, all these guys are capable of doing a whole record, and now it's like now you're in the situation of, if we were to do that, which one are we going to pick?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
who are you going to pick? Everybody did such a killer job on it. It's like, well, you could use Sunshine for it, or use Rob, or Carl, or Bobby, right? Bobby, was that his name, right? Bobby
Jensen. You guys know him? You know where I got him from?
No,
Bobby Jensen. Don't know him.
So I was on Instagram. I play on Instagram literally 8 to 10 hours a day because I work for a tattoo supply company called Painful Pleasures, and that's the best way to reach artists. And I saw a little video in the corner. It looked like Paul Stanley. His hair was going on fire. So I clicked on it. I'm like, oh, I never heard about this. Paul Stanley's hair went on fire, and I'm like, but that doesn't look like Kiss's stage. And I'm looking, I'm like, it's not. It's a guy named Bobby Jensen dressed as Paul Stanley, and he's playing guitar. If you Google Paul Stanley hair fire, you'll find Bobby. So this video goes viral, and I'm thinking, like, Johnny wanted me to find. We just covered "I Stole Your Love," and I'm like, who can sing "I Stole Your Love"? I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if this guy, the Paul Stanley, character from this Kiss tribute band, sang the cover song? I send him a DM thinking I'll never hear from him again, and he's like, I'm in. 3 minutes later.
That's awesome.
and he's great.
He's great. I sent it to Johnny, and Johnny's just laughing, and I'm like, are you laughing because you hate it? You love it? And he's like, it's so fucking good,
Really, really good. Really good. I mean, you guys shine, as two excellent musicians, and you're the bass, but behind what creates this really masterful album is the two of you guys. Great riffs, and Johnny, the hardest working drummer in the entire world at this point. I mean, Jesus. Tomorrow you're going to play with Quiet Riot, which is just wild and wacky. I almost forgot who all was even in that band.
When I get home on Monday, I go to New Orleans to work with IM.
There you go.
Yeah, Monday. Right back out. Come home, put new put fresh clothes in my suitcase and go.
Looking forward to hearing more music on that one as well.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, we got some other stuff coming out, and we're about to release another single. In like 2 weeks or something like that? I think it's like November 6th or something. And while we're there, we're going to work on some new music, and we're shooting a video, which I just found out about. And there's like some other things planned. It isn't just just going to make music, which I was hoping it was, but it's not.
Some drinking and eating along the way down
there. Food. Well, it's New Orleans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, you're drumming on this album. I think it might be the most aggressive that I've heard you do over the years. I mean, maybe it's just because, maybe it's the mix that it's just, it's more in your face than a lot of this, maybe, from typo and stuff, but the fills and everything, you let it really rip on this record. I mean, is that accurate, or is that pretty much the same as you always do?
I don't know. It's really like, my approach to, regardless of who I'm playing with, is always the same. I'm trying to play for the song, and it seems like, like some of the stuff, the stuff that Dan was sending me, like the riffs that he was coming up with kind of lent to, stretching out a little bit, and, really just having fun with it. It's sometimes it would be a little bit busy, I guess, like, when you look at like, everything I've done in the past and whatnot, but I don't think it was like too far, like, off.
I thought it was perfect. Everything is perfect that he's ever sent me. Like, Johnny always sends me 20 takes. I'm like, any of them are perfect, honestly. It's like, he's like, what do you think?
It's part of the process, like, because it's like, like the unique thing about this, about Patriarchs is that nobody's in the same room together. So you're never really sure, like, there's that part of the creative process where everybody's in the room and you're bouncing stuff off of each other, and like everybody helps, like, guide, where the song is going to go. And that isn't the case here. So it's hard for me sometimes to like see the bigger picture, because I'm just getting a guitar riff, and then I have to, come up with something for that. And there's been many times where I thought something was a verse and it's a chorus, something was a chorus, it's a pre-chorus. So then when the vocals get put on, I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea.
That's what's going to come out. Yeah.
And so a lot of that. So sometimes you just, you think you're on the right path with the song, and you're hoping for the best, and and sometimes it works, sometimes it's like, really off, and but it's a unique way of like creating. So it's it's different in that way. It has its own set of challenges.
Yeah. Then did you guys do anything different, the experience wise, in terms of recording or sending files or whatever it is different on this record? Was the same exact formula pretty much you guys did?
I would say the same formula for me.
The same, like I was as each song was being tracked, I'm doing everything. I recorded everything by myself, and it's a learning process. So like each song, like like the recording techniques were getting a little bit better, and things were starting to sound more like like what I had in mind. And, I was like really surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I was really happy with what J-Rod did with the drum tracks on this one. Like it was pretty close to like what I thought I would hear. Like what
sounds pretty live. It sounds like really live.
It is. Yeah. It's very live. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a very small room that I'm playing in, that I'm tracking in. So it's, to try to make it sound big and airy and open.
Yeah.
And not really knowing what I'm doing. That has a whole other set of challenges to it. So every song had, every song was like a unique experience, like just changing out snare drums, or like recording techniques, and like a mic placement and stuff, just trying to get what I think would be the right thing for the song.
Yeah. Now, instrumentation too on this record. I mean, you guys it's not just guitar, bass, and drums now. I mean, you've got on the the title track and the song Veneration, you got violin on there. Crooked Smile's got electric organ, it sounds like, on there. I mean, you definitely added, like I said, a bunch of different elements on this one. Was that something you did maybe after the songs were sort of tracked and done, or was that kind of going into it? You wanted to just add some extra elements to this record?
When I wrote the title track, My Veneration, I heard everything. I heard violins, and I mapped it out for the violin player, very specifically what notes to play when. And then he did a little extra that we left in there that I was just kind of following the guitar. But it's funny how these things happen. Like the song Veneration, the first single with DMC. My wife and I, we go to Key West twice a year, and we were there in October. And the woman staying right next to us was telling us how she's toured with Jamiroquai, and she's been on mega tours, played with major stars. And I said, "What are you playing?" She said, "Violin." I'm like, "Oh, interesting. We should do something with you. You're a nice person. Why not just try it?" So she actually recorded the beginning of the song, and I took her beginning and I put it at the top of the song, and then she played through. But it's just like meeting people, even on vacation, that you're like, why not? At least try it. You don't have to use everything everybody sends you. Just for fun, just try a couple different things.
Yeah, it definitely worked. I mean, that I think fit in perfectly right there.
I thought it was cool to step up the game on the record.
Yeah.
In this one, you got to take it a little bit somewhere, somewhere different. It's like you just can't just keep cranking out Sabbath riffs and, you got to do something a little bit different.
Totally.
Yeah, I really dug the song that had the keys, organ, kind of the vibe going on. That was really it adds a great layer to a lot of good songs. And I thought in this one, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
it kind of brings it to another place. It adds another dimension to it, and it was time for that.
Now, speaking of riffs, we got to talk to Dan here about the man. You create riffs constantly, all over the place. You got different stuff going on. So, tell us about do you have like a catalog of riffs? Or you just got this massive recordings of things, of ideas that you do, and then you just figure out where to place it?
I do. I have 265. I'm going to say parts of songs or song ideas upstairs in my loft, but I only used one of them. The chorus of My Veneration was something I had written years ago. When I wrote it, I thought it sounded a little bit like Manowar. I'm like, I won't do that. Funny when you stick it in something different. But my wife and I were in Mohegan Sun Saturday night until Sunday afternoon, and I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning. I heard a riff on my head. I ran to the bathroom, and I started humming it, trying not to wake her up, although she sleeps really heavy, unlike me. And so I'm always hearing riffs in my head. So I feel like if somebody said like you have to come up with another album in the next 10 days, I could run upstairs and piece a whole bunch of things together, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just have everything be organic and just be all new. But yeah, this is like the song My Veneration. I actually wrote the majority of that was in my head. It wasn't like me holding a guitar messing around, which is usually how I write. But the older I get, I seem like, and I remember doing it once with nonfiction, only once. The riff is in my head, and then I pick up the guitar, and I don't need to figure it out. I just start playing it, So I don't know what's been going on the last like 6 years, but it doesn't stop, and it's kind of almost frustrating because I always tell my wife, like, I can't get this effing song out of my head until I go record it, and then it kind of leaves my head. I send it to Johnny, and then I can kind of like calm down for a little bit until I hear the next song in my head.
You can thank Johnny, though, for the guitar solos, because while he has a lot of riffs cataloged, he really isn't big on doing guitar solos. And we had a few, I guess, discussions.
Yelling.
Because, like, he would, like, he'd send this song, he would send it, and I was like, all right, where's the guitar solo? He's like, well, it doesn't have a guitar solo. I was like, no, it needs a guitar solo. He said, what? I don't want to do a guitar solo. He's like, come up with a fucking guitar solo. Do something like, we're gonna like, whatever. We're gonna take this part, we're gonna extend it another 4 bars or 8 bars, and you're gonna play a solo over it. And if you don't want to do a solo over it, get somebody else to do a solo over it.
No.
The song needs a guitar solo. And he was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then, a few times he was reluctant, and he did it, probably just to shut me up. But he knew I was right.
Turned out good.
Guitar solos are so 1980. I don't really get into them, and I don't know. It's sometimes, yes, of course, it absolutely needs it, but there's other times where I'd rather just let the riff breathe. And like when you work with somebody like Sunshine, he wants to sing over the whole song. Kelly sings over the whole song. It's like I want the riffs to breathe sometimes too,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of typical, right? A lot of guitarists, rhythm guitarists, they don't, who love writing riffs, just kind of don't like leads, and kind of the opposite, right? A lot of lead guitarists don't really like writing riffs.
Yeah.
So that's pretty, I guess, par for the course with guitarists for most of the time, right? Yeah.
A lot of times that's why there's a lead guitarist and a rhythm guitarist.
True. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Guys, we did Friends by Led Zeppelin. We did Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
We did Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. 3 great songs, 0 guitar solos.
That's true, huh? Yeah.
But I think Jimmy Page pretty much covered the guitar solo and some other parts of his catalog. So, to have a couple where there isn't a guitar solo or something, it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. And what Johnny said before, like the song always dictates. So we did disagree on that. That's one thing we disagreed on. I didn't want a solo in Dead or Dying. I'm happy with what I did. It kind of challenged me, and it pushed me, and it got me out of my comfort zone. And then I end up loving the solo. And some of my friends are like, "Oh, that's a cool solo." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
You're welcome.
Yeah. I said, "Thank you, Johnny."
But it's like like sometimes like the song needs that. It needs something like I hate. I have a problem with just like dead space, to sit there and just play a riff. Like 8 times or something, and it's just all right. What's next? What's it building to? Where's it going from here? And it's like, you just have the same thing going, and then somebody sings over it or whatever, like songs that don't change.
Yeah, sure.
They freak me out.
I get what you're saying.
And like where it's like the same riff for 3.5, 4 minutes, and it doesn't really change. Like it's not really doing anything. It's not going anywhere. It's not taking you on a journey. It's just becomes a riff, and it's just plodding. And it's like, I'm gonna go get some coffee now.
Sure. Hey, Dan, when
this riff is making me hungry.
Yeah, right. You got like a burger over there next to you. Hey, Dan, when you look back, in high school, say junior, senior year, what was the music you were listening to then? What were some of your favorite bands?
The same bands, I think, really. Kiss, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Highway to Hell. That was my high school, and Cheap Trick. Those 4 bands were everything to me.
A junior in high school?
Junior or senior, that
Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Johnny's Young.
Metallica. I mean, of course, the classics, Sabbath and Zeppelin and stuff like that. But it was definitely, at that point in my life, definitely Metallica, Overkill, Anthrax, like that whole thrash thing. I was pretty consumed with it. I used to like bands like Exciter.
Oh, nice.
Venom, Celtic Frost,
Hades.
Nice. I saw Hades like a bazillion times because they were like one of the, if Carnivore wasn't opening up for the national act, it was Hades. And then there were the nights where Hades and Carnivore would play together.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I saw Hades play a number of times. Yeah,
oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And when did you all graduate high school, or roughly?
I graduated in 86.
86.
Yeah.
So you're about the same age as myself. I'm 87. Yeah. So I get
when Master of Puppets came out.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got lucky enough to see Metallica like 3 times in 5 years back then. I saw them open up for Ozzy, which was
with Cliff or no?
I saw them twice with Cliff.
Me too.
When they opened up for Ozzy, Cliff was.
Yeah, I think Cliff was still in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Ozzy with Jakey Lee, which oddly enough, I just got to hang out with him a couple weekends ago at Counts Vamped.
Right.
What a fun, cool guy that is. He's a bit enigmatic, but he was just hanging out, watching the show.
Metallica crushed them. Metallica destroyed Ozzy.
It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. And then they played Monsters of Rock, and that was just.
Yeah, that was the
with Dokken, right?
That was about to come out. Yes, with Dokken and
Kingdom Come opened it up, and then Dokken, and then
no, Metallica went on before Dokken.
Yeah. It was Kingdom Come.
Yeah,
Metallica, Dokken,
Metallica, and then Dokken, and then
Scorpions, Van Halen.
Yeah. I thought there was a 6th band even, but yeah, that was some damn good times back then. God, getting drunk in the middle of the day, 19 years old or something. At RFK Stadium. Yeah. What about you, Dan? When did you graduate? You a little bit before us.
I graduated in 1981. Woo. And so back then there wasn't Metallica back then. There was, Highway to Hell was I thought that was the heaviest record that would ever be made, because up until that time I was in, Aerosmith rocks and Kiss Rock and Roll Over where I thought the heaviest albums ever. And, obviously Zeppelin and Sabbath were out and about, but I didn't become a fan of either of those bands until after Hades broke up in the summer of '89. So that's when I fell in love with those 2 bands, honestly.
Wow, Priest and Maiden.
Yeah, Priest, Maiden. That's what I was listening to then. I was like, just a young teenager, but
they were just at such an amazing time. Those 80s were, Johnny, in particular for us in high school.
I saw Judas Priest so many times before the turn of the decade. I don't know how many times I saw them, but every time they came through New York, I always went.
So
like when I was like, whatever, old enough or could afford it.
I mean, those
like albums. I didn't go, like I went to see Priest on Defenders of the Faith, but like when they came around, like like in New York, you had the Nassau Coliseum, you had Madison Square Garden, and you had the Meadowlands in New Jersey. So the first time Priest came around, they played Nassau Coliseum in the Meadowlands. And so I went to the Nassau Coliseum because out of the three, that was the best sounding place. That was the best sounding place to see a show. It was a little bit smaller than the other ones. And so then Priest came around again a couple of months later and they played the Garden. And that was the show when they ripped up all the seats and they threw them on the stage. And all my friends at school, like, you know, like all my friends, they were all going. I was like, nah, I'm not going. I saw them, you know, 2 months ago. And I was like, you know, whatever, the Scorpions, Motley Crue, all these other bands were coming through or whatever. And I was like, I can't go. And all my friends at school, like, dude, you missed the greatest show ever.
Of course, right?
And now it's like, you know, like whatever, like, you know, 40 years later, they're still talking about it. Like, it still gets spoken about, you know, like, because it was such a crazy thing that happened. They were like, yeah, there was so many cushions on the stage. You couldn't even see Halford's Harley, you know. The whole stage was just covered. And they didn't, Priest wasn't allowed to play there for years. They didn't do heavy metal shows at the Garden for years after that.
That's insane. Who opened up for Priest when you saw them, Johnny?
Great White.
Yeah, that's who played down at DC too. Yeah, early Great White,
and we booed and booed and booed the entire time.
That's nice.
Yeah,
you know, sorry, not sorry. Like I see those guys. Like I with Quiet Riot, we play with them often.
I'm sure.
So I don't talk about that when I see them. Right. But, you know, like at the time, you know, like whatever it was, 84, you know, like 84, 85, it was like, you know, no, it was like going to see Slayer. You don't care who opened up.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't matter. And it was the same thing, you know, like with Priest. I saw Priest another time. What was it? Shit.
But didn't Maiden open up for Priest a lot back then? I feel like that's who was the opening.
That was before they moved into the arenas.
Okay, that's where I started. Yeah,
I was supposed to go to the show like the year before when Maiden was touring on Number of the Beast and Priest was touring on Scream for Vengeance. They did a show at the Palladium together in New York, and I was supposed to go, and the person didn't come through with the tickets. Like, you know, like we were like getting ready to go on the subway. It was like, all right, ready to go, and they were like, oh no, I don't have the tickets. I'm like, what? I like fought with my mother for months to get permission to go to the concert. Right, because I was like 14.
I get that feeling.
And so I didn't get to see them then, but I had seen them at one point. I had seen them on every tour except for Turbo. I couldn't.
You couldn't, huh? For Turbo? No,
I couldn't do it.
It's too much, huh?
Yeah. I stopped going.
It really was hard.
Most did, yeah.
I mean, for people don't realize, for us Gen Xers, how important Priest was Scream for Vengeance and Defenders of Faith was such
Defenders of the Faith, like, that's a 1-2 punch. That's just
I mean, I was, same style, sound, production, everything was just, it was like, this is metal, you know, and the first Dio albums, and, you know, you just had all these bands locked in. Maiden literally on a 3 album run, you know, starting with Bruce, you know, it was just amazing.
Yeah, they kind of lost me on Power Slave.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
I started like, you know, veering away from it. You know, like honestly, I mean, I love Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind. But I'm really more of a Paul Di'Anno fan.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
I can't listen to Bruce Dickinson, and ever since 2012, it just sounds silly to me. Like I just, out of all the bands I grew up loving, I cannot listen to Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson now. It just not
like even though like I saw Iron Maiden the last time I saw them, Ghost was supporting them. And I went to go see them with Ghost, and you know, like most of the set I didn't even recognize. But Bruce Dickinson still sounds aming.
I'm still running around.
I mean, he really does. He runs around. He you know, he performs. He sings great. I don't even think that they're tuned down. I think they're still playing in the original tune.
I just read an article about that today.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it sounded like it was like still in the same key from the records, and I was like, wow. I was like, this guy, like, you know, like he's maintained. He's one of the few
Yeah.
You know, like his voice is still
top notch. Yeah.
Still amazing. Yeah. He's still delivering. That takes a lot of work.
He's such a fascinating Renaissance man. This guy.
Yeah, he's a pilot.
Just the most fascinating man in metal.
He's a fencer.
Fencer, yeah. Yeah.
He's fucking a pilot. He fences, you know. It's crazy. Now, well, speaking of the 80s, how does DMC get involved?
That's him. That box. This is like Hollywood Squares, but without famous.
I know, right?
The Brady Bunch, the metal Brady Bunch.
There you go. So DMC.
How does he get involved?
DMC? The drummer from Exodus put out a solo record, and it was all cover songs. And, you know, it was after he got cancer. He wanted to do something I guess he always wanted to do. So he put out a cover album. And the guy who did the videos for him and played the drums is friends with J-Rod. And they told me that DMC did a rap in the middle of the song, Jungle Love, not the Steve Miller song, whoever else did Jungle Love, I forget. It was in the Prince movie.
Oh, The Alarm. I don't know. Morris Day in the time.
I don't know who it is, but DMC wrote an original rap in the middle of the song. Yes, that sounds right. So DMC wrote a rap in the middle of the song, and it needed a guitar behind it. And you know, that's a weird way to write something, is like after somebody already records the vocals, you know. But I did something, and like literally the next day I was recording it, and they fell in love with it. And then we did a video, and DMC asked me if I had any other riffs, or actually, who am I kidding? I asked him if he wanted to hear any of my other songs, and I sent him about 6 songs, and he's like, next. And then he took Veneration. He's like, that's the one I'm singing on that. I'm like, all right,
nice.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, you know, and one of the things I haven't seen in any of, I've been reading some reviews on the record and hearing people talk about it. There's one thing that people aren't talking about the record. It's just journalists are lazy as fuck these days. They really are. I mean, the tracks Dead and Gone and Digitalized is the same song. I mean, it's like, you know, because I remember sitting, listening to it for the first time. I was in the gym, and when Digitalized came on, I'm like, wait, did I just hear this fucking song? Like that riff, you know? And I'm like, oh, maybe it's just me. But then I went back again. No, it is. It's the same song, but with different vocals. Yeah. So what made you? I love Digitalized is one of my favorite songs on a record. What made you to do that, to have the same song and just 2 different vocalists on each one?
Because I gave it to, you never know when you hand a song to a singer. If it's like Sunshine, Jason McMaster from Cassius King, Kelly Abe, and Bobby Jensen. If you hand them a song on a Monday, it's finished on Tuesday vocally. And then you hand the songs to other guys, and it's like 3 years later, you don't have anything. So we needed one more song on the record. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna send it to both of them. And I'm like, well, what if they both come out good? Who do we tell no? And Johnny and me are like, fuck it. If they're both good, we'll use them both. If one sucks, we'll leave it off. And we liked both of them enough to, and then that's another thing that what other band does that has the same song.
Right.
Nobody does it. Right. Journalists are lazy. Good point, Matt. You're
absolutely. Not lazy. I'm not lazy. I'm definitely not lazy. Johnny, your brother Danny also was on this too, huh? But did he play?
Yeah, I got my brother on a song.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that. Just getting everybody, huh? I mean, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny has his FedEx guy playing leads on the next one, he told me.
Probably a solo.
I'll find some neighbors or something.
Instead of paying his landscapers, like, you want to put some leads on the next record?
No, but that's like, that's the charm of doing this, is that, like, instead of just being locked down to, one lineup of just one group of people, you just, you reach out to your friends and say, hey, you want to, you got this song, you want to do something on it, you want to play a solo on it, you want to sing on it, write lyrics, or, really the only things that are there are Dan and myself. Everybody else is, it's, putting, painting different pictures. It was cool. I was able, we were able to get Eric Morgan, who I played with in Pale Horse, to play on a bunch of songs, fantastic bass player. And but he's he's down, so it's like, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, sure. And so, like, and Dan reaches out to different people, and we just throw it all into the soup.
It's fun for sure,
yeah. And it's cool to see, like, with different people come up with.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, and then you also have Johnny Araya, brother of another brother, of Tom Araya from Slayer, who played bass as well in this. Yeah, how'd you get him?
You know what's really funny is his wife is a tattoo artist. So, like I told you, I play on Instagram all day, and I'm looking at his wife's Instagram, like, dude, that guy looks so much like Tom Araya.
He really does look like Tom Araya.
It's unbelievable, right? And I'm like, I'm thinking, like, if it really is Tom Araya's brother, why not? And Johnny said to me, he plays an instrument, right, Johnny? You weren't aware that he plays?
Well, like I know Tom because he's a bass tech and he's toured with Danzig.
Oh, okay.
So he was always like, you know, like a bunch of work that we've done throughout the years. He's been teching for Steve Zing. Okay. But I didn't know that he actually played. I just thought he was a tech. So. Wow. So then, you know, like, you know, turn around and then, you know, Dan knows his wife through the tattoo industry and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I got Tom Araya to play on a song. I was like,
John,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys,
Johnny? And I was
Johnny.
I was like, I didn't even know that he played. I mean, I knew like he knows his way around a bass, but I didn't know that he played.
And you know what? He is so into it. He's into
it. He's great. Yeah, like, you know, like he crushed the song. He did it, you know, and I haven't seen him or spoken to him since he did it. But I'm looking forward to seeing him, you know. I hope to see him soon. You know, he lives in he's in Austin, right? Austin or San Antonio?
Well, sort of near Dallas. I mean, I don't know what airport. Not really, no, not near you. I forget it. It says it's town I'm not familiar with.
I think Johnny's in Austin. I think
Austin,
they're in Austin.
It's outside of Austin. It's his mailing address is in Austin. That's for sure.
Yeah,
be outside of it.
Yeah, and I saw there was another bassist that was like works at the is like a professor at the Berkeley School of Music. Is that correct?
Yeah, and he was one of the original Hades bass players.
Oh, okay.
It broke my heart when he decided to become a good musician. You know, because I knew I'd never see him again. He was in one of the original versions of Hades when we opened up for Twisted Sister, and we were a cover band back then. And he's a savant. Like the first time I saw him, everybody was talking about Hades was playing a battle of the bands at a high school, and there's this guy everybody's like, there's this guy. If he hears a song once backstage, he'll just play it live with you. I'm like, oh, I don't need that, you know. But so we became really good friends. And then he started getting into Yes and all that horrible music, you know, all that Rush and all that horrible musician music that I'm not really into.
Prague.
He's so into it too. So it was like I hadn't talked with him on the phone in well over 30 years. And like we're just laughing like we're in high school again, you know. He's really nice, you know. But yeah, he's the bass professor at Berkeley School of Music.
Wow, nice. And what tracks did you play on? Multiple or just one? Or?
Oh, he played on Veneration, and also you guys will be the first to know. The day after Thanksgiving, we have a Queen cover called "Dragon Attack."
Oh, nice.
Sunshine and Anthony Biddy. And for drums, I actually got Dave Lombardo. I didn't want Johnny, you know. So no, Johnny's on this song as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, very cool.
That's back when
I did drum overdubs.
Yeah.
Wow.
First for me.
That's amazing.
Wow,
I'm
nice.
on this song. Yeah, the Queen cover. You like that song, John?
Yeah. That's one of the Queen songs I've kind of discovered after the fact.
Me too.
Because there's a lot of Queen I just cannot stand. I'm just one of those things. I know I'm supposed to like them. I can't fucking stand most of their shit. But some of that heavier Brian May stuff.
Yeah,
like Bicycle. I'm a better person when not having to hear that or Bohemian Rhapsody ever again. And I feel good about it. And Radio Gaga, which really should be called Radio Caca.
That's not
in Spanish.
That's some of the stuff like, you know, later on they
the 80s stuff. Yeah.
You know, Who Wants to Live Forever and, you know.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
What do you want us to cover next, Matt?
Oh, gee, man. Well, I mean, I was going to say, I was going to actually talk about the Black Sabbath, because I know, Dan, you've been telling me all these interviews I've done with you that you were never really influenced by Sabbath. Like you said, you just mentioned the bands. But when I saw the Sabbath cover, I was like, all right, Dan, you really just, you know, fucking with us here or what? I mean, because you got a lot of, you know, Sabbath, it's sounding stuff, as you know. But when I saw that, I was going to say, cover a Sabbath song, but you already did that. Cover an Aerosmith song, right? You're a big Aerosmith guy. You told me, right? So
love
so
much. I heard Kings and Queens on the way to Mohegan Sun.
Oh, nice.
Great song.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Aerosmith songs.
Yeah. I mean, Aerosmith was great when they were on drugs.
It's a toss up between Draw the Line and Rocks as my favorite Aerosmith.
Yeah, Rocks.
Oh, really? For me, it's Rocks and Toys, and then Draw the Line number 3.
Yeah, Toys doesn't do it for me. Draw the Line is like you could just see it, like it's just like the wheels, the lug nuts on the wheels, the nuts, the wheels are starting to fall off the bus.
Oh no, Johnny!
Yeah,
Round and Round.
It's great.
My first solo album, I covered Round and Round, not the Rat.
Not Rat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Band song, whatever. The cover would be Sabbath with Dio.
I've done Voodoo before. I can do Voodoo if you want, Johnny.
I'd like to see Sunshine give that a shot. See Mark Sunshine try Dio. That'd be interesting.
Well, or McMaster
or Carl.
Well, or Carl. Yeah,
Carl would be a good one to cover Dio Sabbath. He would do something interesting with it.
Well, you know what's it? I really like, Dan, is your band Cassius King you mentioned earlier. That band is really some good. I would call it heavy rock. It's not quite metal, but the vocalist reminds me a little bit of
Dio.
McMaster
does,
degree, which
you know who it is, right?
McMaster.
What was he? I know he's a McMaster, right?
Yeah. He's in Dangerous Toys. He's touring Europe right now with Watchtower, probably the worst band on the planet. Who I've actually had to sleep in my apartment for a couple of weeks at a time. Nice guys, but just so bad, man.
Well, you toured with them, right? Years ago with Hades, right? Didn't you guys? I think when I had you and Jason on, you said didn't you guys play with each other once or so, Dan? With
say that again.
With the Watchtower and Hades, didn't you guys play right together?
I booked their first American tour. There's only like 5 shows, but yeah.
And meanwhile, Johnny, you're with Quiet Riot, which I guess I need to know the update. Who the hell's in the band nowadays? Rudy Sarzo, I think, is in it, right?
Yeah, Rudy's back. Rudy's been back now 2 years. Wow. And so you got me, Rudy, Alex Grassi is playing guitar. He's been in the band for 20 years.
Yeah, he's kind of the staple at this point in time.
Yeah,
I've actually met him a few times. He's a Vegas guy, so I've met him a few times.
He's
him
a
and his
Vegas
wife,
guy.
and various circles.
And you got Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate singing.
His voice is still amazing. I saw them a year ago, and they did all Quiet Riot songs, and they did Blackout in a Red Room, and his voice is fucking sick.
I love that album.
He goes up there and he goes up there and crushes it, he's still like, at that level of a vocalist and a performer and stuff, he will not phone it in.
Very good singer. I've had the good fortune of seeing him a number
also
of times.
A Las Vegas resident.
Yeah, I've seen him at Vamped, play a bunch. I mean, that first Love Hate album, it was easily one of my go-to albums in college, back in the late 80s or whatever, just early 90s. Just such a good album. And the guy sings his ass off.
Totally.
And he's
friends wherever he goes, though. But, yeah, totally. That's an interesting to get Rudy back in the mix along the way.
Yeah, it's been great. Rudy, he's an icon.
Totally.
And he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
That's what I hear.
Which is great. Yeah.
And he's been in more bands than you, maybe.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. I think. And now he's stuck with me.
Yeah. Well,
poor soul.
Yeah. It's wild.
So Dan, anything with Vessel of Light? I mean, I know you it's been, because you've been really focusing on Cassius King and Patriarchs in Black. You got anything up your sleeve with Vessel of Light? Is that still going on?
Yeah. So not by choice. I mean, I would have continued with Vessel of Light, but Nathan was living in Cleveland. Nathan Opposition, who actually Ancient Wisdom toured as the opening act for Ghost's first ever American tour, and I was obsessed with Vessel of Light. And every show, I would pay for Nathan's airfare and hotel. because he's working in a pizza parlor. So it got to be kind of expensive for me. And before COVID, we did 10 shows, and then COVID happened. We stopped playing the shows, and Nathan moved from Cleveland to Austin. And now I'm looking at the airfare. I'm like, man, this is fucking getting expensive, you know?
Damn, yeah.
So, and we had a little weird, like, he was just like, maybe like would do things differently. And I'm like, fuck that. So I had Jason McMaster, you know, do the Cassius King albums, which I had already written. And, but yeah, Nathan Opposition and Vessel of Light. Nobody knows this. We're going to have one brand new song come out at some point within the next few months. I was just talking with him right before this interview. Fucking talented kid, the most depressed person in the world for somebody who writes depressed riffs. It's a nice combination. I love Vessel of Light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you need to move down to Texas, man. All your guys you're working with are down here. Jason, Johnny, and Nathan. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty. How ironic is that, huh?
Texas is awesome.
Yeah, it is great. I love Texas.
Multiple times about the pizza and the bagels, and he said it doesn't cut it. So
it's never going to cut it. It won't.
No. There's like bagels and bagels, pizza, you know, but brisket, barbecue.
There you go.
Tex-Mex, freedom.
Yeah. Freedom. That's the key. That's the word. Yeah, exactly.
I was just down in Austin for Ripple Fest, and always a good time down there, man. That food.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know. For me, the food is just damn good, and it must be nice not having state income tax, which is just like
Vegas it's a little perk. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not having to shovel snow and break ice off the windshield anymore.
That too.
Nah, that was the thing. I left my shovel. I gave it to my mom when I left.
Yeah.
But I was just in New York last week, so I was able to
get your pizza fix.
My pizza fix.
Yeah. There you go.
Got that taken care of. I had a bagel, and then I was good. Now I was ready to leave.
Are you guys Jets or Giants fans? Jets or Giants? Or no, don't care.
But really Knicks fan.
Nice.
Out of the New York teams, Jets. I'm actually a Redskins fan. Oh wait,
man, that was me too. I was a Redskins fan for 35 years until they changed. I can't root for the Commanders. I can't do it, man.
Yeah, I grew up.
I'm really not from Washington, so it's like yeah.
I'm more about the Jets now.
Yeah. Nice win. But, big win this weekend. Jeez.
I'm really more of a hockey fan.
Are you? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Rangers?
Yeah. Rangers, diehard Rangers fan.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And here I am talking from the champion city of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
For hockey. It's fucking crazy. We've really adopted that. That's one team. Vegas is just so enamored, has such a relationship with the Golden Knights. I mean, it's amazing. Raiders, not so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you are stuck with the Raiders.
I mean, I'm a team guy. I'll take the home team and
you got to root for the home team.
They're my third favorite team. I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan, and I grew up in Washington. I know. 5 rings later, but all right.
Yeah, I don't talk football with the locals.
I bet you don't. Yeah, I bet you don't. Yeah. That's funny, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So, Johnny, you were saying you got that. You got, of course, you said you got Quiet Riot. You've been touring, I know, with Danzig. You guys did a bunch of shows recently.
Danzig, I haven't played with Danzig since like before the pandemic.
Oh, okay. I didn't
like
know
a lot of the stuff that he had going on. I wasn't available for it, so you got to call Rockfist, who plays with Mike Monroe. Michael Monroe.
What, the Elvis stuff?
Rocks. No, Steve Zing actually plays drums when he does the Elvis thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Cool.
And
crazy.
So yeah, like the Danzig, I didn't do the last tour that he did.
Okay. Now, so you said we talked to Kenny, I know, back in the spring, and like I said, I know you guys have been putting together that album, pretty, little by little, I guess, is how it's going.
Yeah.
So, what's like you said, you got to be releasing a video and some music soon.
Well, there's a single coming out. I'm not sure when the video is going to get done. We're going to shoot it next week. So
okay, very cool.
However, like whatever's involved with the editing and post production and all that really boring shit that I can't stand.
Oh,
I really do. I've always hated videos. I like watching them. That's it. But I hate being a part of them.
Yeah. Are you guys thinking of doing a video or make like a lyric video or something for Patriarchs in Black at all?
Well, we have a lyric video for Dead or Dying. It's out now. Came out a few weeks ago. And we have a video for Friends, the Led Zeppelin cover with Militia Vox.
I did see that, yeah.
Is getting some weird... I don't even know how to mention what's going on with that.
Consideration for a Grammy.
Yeah.
Really? What?
Yes.
Yeah. We're number 225 out of 350 bands that are possibly going to be nominated for a Grammy for Best Hard Rock Performance. Patriarchs and Black Friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're on the committee,
if you know anyone on the committee, put in a word for us.
Very interesting. Wow.
Buy your lunch if you're on the committee.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but how did that happen? That's freaking wow. Look at you guys.
Militia Vox. Did you hear the version of it, John?
I have. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I don't know if I feel like I have, but now I got to go back and visit.
It's amazing.
And she's like, didn't she? She was like in a Judas Priest cover band or something, right?
Yes, yeah. Judas Priestess. Yeah.
Yeah, Judas Priestess. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And she did a duet with Rob Halford, so she's legit. She makes a living. Johnny and everybody else involved in this project makes a living playing music, except for me.
Well, that's got to change after you get your Grammy. It's going to all that.
Well, that's it. Then it'll be Grammy award-winning Patriarchs in Black.
That's right. There you go.
Right. Don't see it happen. We're not too optimistic about that.
That's still pretty cool.
You got to get a PR firm, man. You got to get a PR firm. And you got to get a PR firm and start getting the emails out.
Yeah.
And everything else. And next thing you know, you're in the top 10.
Very cool.
I know.
Of course.
So is that like do you say it's like a Grammy considered or like
it's not me. You're right.
Consideration, how do you?
I get emails.
It's nice. All right. Well, guys, before we wrap it up, just real quick, where could everyone go and buy the record? And what's the best place we should send all the listeners and viewers to check it out? My Veneration.
I mean, if they like digital, all the outlets, it's available digitally everywhere. And then CD, it's an import on MDD Records. You can, buy it from Amazon and stuff. The CD just came out like 7 days ago. It's not even in America yet, unfortunately, but you can order it. You can pre-order it. And then our Instagram is Patriarchs in Black, and we're everywhere on, digitally.
All right. Very cool. All right. Well, once again, Patriarchs in Black, My Veneration, out now. And Johnny and Dan, once again, appreciate you guys coming on and chatting with us. And
thanks so much.
Yeah, good luck with everything, man. And
thank you.
Everyone's
Thanks
gonna
for
love
having
the record.
us on.
Great record.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it,
guys.
Path to